Welcome everyone to Coffee with the Kingpins. It is a fantastic day, Friday, and I have the pleasure of having a very good friend who I have worked with in certain ways, and he will explain why. His name is Amin Wilder, and we are going to find out what his gifts are. Welcome, Amin. Nice to see you.
Well, thanks for having me today, Thursday. This is a really a great pleasure to be here. And
Fantastic. Thank
yeah,
you for joining me.
yeah,
With
thank
Coffee with the Kingpins. So I wanted to ask you, Amin, I was actually the way that I came across your name was I was asking some friends about someone who does life regressions. And they said, oh my God, there's this gentleman who recently moved to Sarasota who is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about your background and then what kind of got you to get involved with all these different gifts that you have.
Oh, don't even know where to begin. Um, I have worked as a therapist for many years, and eventually I kind of got burned out because I wasn't getting anywhere with my clients. So it was really challenging to kind of see them every week and then not getting anywhere. So I decided to actually explore a little bit and to see what is out there to get myself in a place where I can be of greater service and to be able to actually not just, you know, circle around the story of the person, but actually get to the root cause of what really lies beneath it. So I started looking in and I came across, well, the hypnosis seems to be a really good modality to find actually all the necessary answers for my work. And so I dove into that and
Can I ask you what form of therapy you were doing? Because they're all different kinds of
this,
therapy.
yeah, the just the conventional, I call it talking therapy. So, it's after doing that for probably close to 18 years, I just really was burned out. I didn't want to work anymore as a therapist, and I needed something more. And I knew there's a lot of stuff that, I can look into. I'll be of greater service. And so I wanted to be able to help out people on a larger scale, not just with the story. So getting I went and I studied hypnosis, attended in New Mexico,
Mhm.
a hypnotherapy academy, and then I opened my business there in New Mexico. So I lived in New Mexico practicing hypnosis, and started getting all these incredible feelings and results with people. Um, a lot of people are coming through and I'm just like, wow, this is so amazing how much we can do just simply tapping into the subconscious mind and to find out how we can uh, all these issues that we're dealing with every day. All of us have problems. We have to live here in a 3D reality where everything is very much has connection to our past lives. So um, my clients have started telling me stories and how actually, witnessing that was a miracle for me compared to the conventional therapy. So I've learned a great deal through hypnotherapy itself, but in particular past life regression, because there's so much what we're dealing with today. It has to do with our previous incarnations. And so my curiosity led me to so many different avenues and having the past life regression and just um, providing the clinical hypnotherapy to people who are in need of assistance with the elements. That was a great sense of that feeling, a humbling feeling that within me that it's just like I can do this and be of assistance on a much deeper level than talking
Mhm.
therapy was for me
So,
personally.
so you do, you use hypnosis for life regression, but you also do hypnotherapy for people who want to get rid of certain diseases or illnesses or give up certain addictions, right?
Right, very, very much so. So, and the beauty of the hypnotherapy is you can apply it on pretty much in every aspect of our lives. Anywhere from the child, a small child can utilize the hypnotherapy modality to an adult, and it helps with any kind of addictions, any medical issues, and also what is so great about it, if you are prepping for a surgery or something so intrusive and complicated, it actually can prepare you for the surgery too. So then that way you are not in this anxiety state where you are concerned about the outcome of the procedure.
Right.
So and you're actually more receptive to the medicine itself that is given to you, and your body is absorbing it better to help you to heal. So it can speed up the recovery process as well. It
Fantastic.
actually heals the bones. If you have a broken bones, it can speed up the recovery of that. Um, there's just so much you can do with the subconscious mind, and it's
You
so
amazing.
fascinating to me. Yeah. Um,
I'm really curious. I know a little bit about where you come from, but tell us where you're from. You know, I mean, a lot of times I feel with people who are working to be of service, who are getting involved in esoteric arts, there's usually something that starts as a child. So, tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and how you came to this.
well, I came from Eastern Europe originally in Republic of Georgia, and I've been in the U.S. for most of my life now.
Mhm.
Um, so I had kind of tumultuous upbringing in a way, and a challenging childhood myself, and so um, when I came to be, in United States and to work with the therapy and the clients at that point, it was so helpful for me to have my own personal experiences as a child and then teenager and adolescent, And so from that, it helped me to see more what people are going through and to kind of relate in a way to be of greater help.
What made you interested in hypnotherapy? I mean, what
Um,
pushed you towards that?
well, I think mostly because of a lot of traumatic experiences that I personally had experienced, and so is my sister.
Mhm.
And so for me, it was something that I had to actually figure it out for myself first in
Right.
order for me to actually to clear the house, so to speak. And that's why I end up studying the psychology and psychiatry and various therapeutic methods. And then when I wanted something more, there's always felt this, there's something else there's out there that can help me actually to be at more clearing of my own self in order for me to be of service to people. So that kind of got me on the road with people and finding that hypnotherapy. And so once I got on it, I got hooked. So, so
Mm.
because with the hypnosis, and then later on, I also got into shamanic path. So that helped me so much to clear my own vessel and my own memory, my own subconscious, and dig deep, and do the shadow work, so to speak, and so clear all that out so then I can be of greater service and I can be more understanding more compassionate towards other people's struggles every day.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when you start learning how to become a therapist or a psychiatrist, usually you also have to have therapy sessions, correct? So you
Right.
have to first sort of delve into your own traumas or issues
Absolutely.
to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us about, so you do other things. You mentioned about the shamanic arts, and then you do other modalities of healing, and you actually recently did a therapy called the spine flow, which was very interesting because I definitely was feeling the energy, and afterwards, like I remember that I had sort of a more flexible neck, and yeah, my chest area was a little more open.
Yeah. So there's this list of things that I was so eager to learn, and that the innate, wondering and finding and looking for new modalities to learn to better myself, yet again to be of greater service to people. Um, I studied shamanism, and I got initiated into shamanic healer um, with the Peruvian shamanisms and the shamanic healers. So the it's so seemed to be, for me personally, because of my experiences, I find it's very much interwoven with one with each other. And so the hypnosis, like when I talk about past life regression, I think about soul retrieval, which is a shamanic healing modality. And so because you are tapping into uh, to retrieve that, you know, fragmented part of yourself, that we have when we lose ourselves in a way when going through the trauma. So that's kind of felt so much like a being at home when I step into that next level. But spinal flow is an incredible modality because it's fairly new here for in Sarasota area. But it does work with the nervous system, and so that's basically applying on certain points on your spine. It actually allows the communication with your brain, and so which in connection, once the energy start flowing freely through on your spine, that's when the healing begins within the body
Right,
because we have that natural ability to do that.
right.
And so if one session can do actual some release in the body, there's a each part of your body, it's a seven gateways. And in a way, I think it's a by colors, it reminds you of chakra colors.
Hmm.
So you have chemical and emotional and physical blockages in your spine, and you can actually release that. And with so many sessions, you can actually help person to free themselves from the different blockages in the body. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, the modalities. I think everybody should be doing that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you incorporate hypnotherapy with the shamanic healing. Like, give us a little more, like a deeper example, like an experience or of some of the people that you have worked with, so
So I
the
do,
viewers can understand a little better.
right. So I do word tracking. So what did that mean? So when I meet somebody and they come to me for help, um, I just ask them to tell me why they're there. And so from there, I listen, and each person has a very specific, unique word to them that they keep coming back to.
Hmm.
And that word gives me the actual picture, what I need to work with. And so based on that word, we can actually have create sessions that are required. It can be our soul ritual. If a person feeling, for instance, lost, or they feel like they in that vicious circle of they doing something, but they're actually not getting anywhere. And so when people feel certain disconnect within themselves and with people around them,
Right.
so that gives me an idea that the person would greatly benefit from the soul retrieval. If you had ever a surgery or you had a car accident or any kind of accident, what happens is part of the soul, it leaves the body.
Hmm.
So once it leaves the body, then you basically walking, you're not complete, you're not whole anymore. And so these feelings of incompleteness and not being yourself, a lot has to do with not being whole with your fragmented aspect of yourself.
So would you say
So,
the trauma kind of freezes a certain part of the soul? Like, you know
well,
how usually when we get afraid, the automatic thing that we do is hold the breath, where it's actually so much better to take a deep breath, but it's like
right,
a subconscious reaction, right?
yes.
So, yeah.
And that actually, it's a good example because what happened is then that's how we create the blockages in the body. And so body just is a vessel that stores all that
Right.
information within itself,
Mhm.
whether it's in your spine, whether it's in your chest area, anywhere in the body. And a lot of times people notice, they experience certain ailments. And with these modalities like hypnosis and shamanic work, you can actually dive deep through the deep realization and get to the cause of it versus having talking about it and attaching yourself to the story. And you know hypnosis and shamanic work is excellent, to help people with the traumas of any kind.
So
So
when you work with someone who comes with, I mean, obviously, when they come to you, they realize there is something that they want to like clear or get rid of, or a habit or a trauma that's causing them pain in some way. So, what would you recommend? Like, how many sessions would you need to see somebody, or does it differ depending on what they need?
it, it varies very much, depends on the person and also what they need exactly. And so um, I can recommend break down everything on how many sessions of hypnosis. If they had a really severe trauma, like emotional trauma,
Mhm.
we can go and help with the hypnotherapy with that. And then whatever the residue is still within the body, which is an energetic body, a luminous field, the shamanic work comes in. I can clear and do chakra illumination, which is very different than the chakra attunement.
Right.
The Reiki, masters will do. So chakra illumination is so much deeper. I have the ability to, as through my practice as a shaman, I can clear the samskara and the imprint out of the chakra system where all that information is resides, and then help people to actually clean out the chakras from inside of that luminous field, and then clear out the luminous field. And so there's a space between your chakra system and your luminous field.
Mhm.
So when the chakras exude all that debris and it has no way to go, you basically blocked. And so you don't have any way to actually walk freely and it just be lighter,
Right.
which chakra illumination allows you to do. So as a shaman, then I am able to actually lift your luminous field
Mhm.
in the session where I can sweep out all that debris after clearing your and eliminating all your chakras, then filling them up with the light.
So when someone comes to you, do they have a form they have to fill out, or do you have like a period of consultation where you kind of listen to them, ask them questions to find out, like how you need to proceed?
Mostly with a release form, just for people are consenting. And then just really actually just diving deep into the healing session. I mean,
Mhm.
I think people are in much need of help, especially now when everything is changing so quickly and people are waking up. Um, we need to be able to clear our bodies, our vessels from all that accumulations from, many lifetimes, really.
Right.
So we go right into the session. So they come when they're
So,
already ready.
right, 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 right. So, while you're going through the session, you speak to the person, you tell them, you share with them what you see or what you're clearing. I mean, on a 3D level, or is it all quiet?
Well, it depends. I mean, depends who I'm working with. If somebody is coming in and they're still skeptical, so I will go through the process of explaining what it is. Well,
Right,
first of all, why are you here in the first place? So, and then once you have certain expectations, I want to make sure that person understand what this entails.
right,
And so if you have a doubts, if it's not working, you are not a right person for me because I need you to believe that you are healed as much as I do.
right, right,
Because
right,
I see you as healed person.
right. So my next question is, when someone approaches you and they tell you that they're interested to have a life regression session, what are the processes that you take them? I mean, like, what are the how do you proceed with that?
Well, first of all, good question for me. I ask usually is why do you want to know something like
Mm,
from your past life? Is that something that you are actually have some certain resemblance on a daily basis? What do you remember? Maybe you're tapping into something, or you meet somebody and then you have this feeling like, oh my God, like I know this person.
right,
So, it's all about figuring out like what is the real reason why you want to know, tap into that memory and imprints that you hold within yourself. And so once we have the conversation, then we can go in the session itself. And I'll just guide you through the relaxation into the state of hypnosis. You're still awake and you're aware of everything and you can communicate. We do Q&A. I ask questions and you basically we diving into deeply your subconscious mind and I take all the information that is stored there out so you can have that knowledge and all of us have that access to it.
right, right. Now, having done it, I think I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times. Definitely, I remember a lot of information for me, and I know it's different for everybody, but I mean, I see it like a movie that plays, and I'm aware of my 3D body, and I'm aware of what I'm seeing as me in that lifetime, but it's also has color, it has sensation. The only thing is that, you know, I'm really not aware of how much time has passed because
Right.
I've had sessions where they were, I remember the first one that I did was like 6.5 hours. And it was like someone, it was like 10 minutes. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I find, and I don't know if you do that, but one of the things that I find really, really helpful is recording the session. I have recordings of my first and I think three. And I mean, I came and listened to it. And I remember at one time my mother listened to it. And this was the second one that I did, which was very interesting because I was talking about one of my lifetimes that I was a being that came from another planet to Earth. And my mother, who had never done anything like this, she said, "Oh my God, even your voice was different." So that was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone is different. So a lot of people they either can see it as a movie they're
Yeah.
playing out. Um, some people just see uh, like screenshots, just
Right.
go in a little screen, that's it. Or, some people see it in color, some people see it in black and white, but it depends on the person, I guess,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and it's really interesting.
What do you think about there are some people who say, "Oh, no one can hypnotize me." What would you say to that?
Yeah, these are very analytical people that are sometimes challenging to work with, but it's not impossible.
Right.
Um, from my experience, usually it's easy to give them the job, like
Hmm.
what to do if they are having a hard time. But
Right.
overall, I think my question usually I ask is, do you ever daydream?
Hmm.
So if they say yes, then that means anybody who daydreams can be hypnotized because that's a state of hypnosis you are in when you're daydreaming.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. So, I really am interested, and especially for the viewer, to really understand like some of the things that you worked with, some of the modalities that you use, and what effects people have seen. For me, for example, with um, the life regression, for me, I feel it's a really amazing form of therapy. Because I
it
remember
is.
one of my sessions that, I had uh, a challenging relationship since childhood with my dad, and for no reason, but it was just from inside. And as soon as I went through that lifetime, it completely, like at the snap of a finger, cleared everything. So I think it's
Yes,
a phenomenal way of clearing some of the things that, we were unaware of in our present life that we brought in from a past life.
exactly. I mean, it is very deep clearing of all the emotions or emotional releases that people have and understanding, how much about the relationships challenges that they can clear certain patterns. People find out life purposes, they couldn't figure it out like who they are and who they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And past life definitely helps out people with a finding themselves, you know. And I really think um, even the karmic ties that we have with people
Right,
or places, it helps people to release that when they tap into past life.
right.
There's a lot of answers that so just a little bit of I guess, information for people who are wondering how can you do certain things. So as a shaman, I mean, I have a way of doing a clearing, like through chakra elimination, for instance. But a lot of people are still, some people don't know or just not aware. So we have 8 chakra systems, like 8 chakras above our crown chakra. And so the 8 chakras' responsibility is to collect the information once the person is ready to leave the body.
Mm-hmm.
So because by the time they exit the body, the 8 chakra actually collects all the information from each chakra and it floats around and waiting for another vessel to enter. So
Mm-hmm.
once you choose, your soul chooses another vessel, whether it's a male or female, it's irrelevant. And what happens is that 8 chakra comes back again and downloads all that information into rest 7 chakras. So you can be carrying so much baggage from so many lifetimes and so many incarnations that is actually not really of service to you right now at this point.
Right.
So, in order for you to clear all that out and to get that out of your system so you can move forward and actually live fulfilled life, um, chakra elimination is the excellent way to clear out all of that
Mm-hmm.
junk, that you accumulated.
So in that conversation, where would your higher self be?
In which way? How do you
Well,
mean?
what you were mentioning about, the eighth chakra and how it downloads your past experiences.
Right. So the eighth chakra, it's just like any chakras are within our system, it has its own particular job. So
Okay.
as the shamans, this is how they clear out the chakras. So then people are, and once you do that, you're actually feeling so much lighter right after the session itself. It's really
So, but
incredible.
the modality that you're using, do you touch base with, like, what I understand with your higher self is your higher self is something that comes with you each lifetime that
Right.
helps, that's like has the memory of all your other lifetimes that can also, it's like if you kind of connect with it, it can be a way of directing you or showing you the proper way, so to speak.
Right. So the not many people know how to connect with their higher selves.
Uh-huh.
We just never been really taught it, anything about these things. And it's like it's either woo-woo or it's something that is nobody knows how to, to dissect and how, understanding of that.
Mhm.
So the higher self is always with you, clearly, and then that's just part of the soul contract, and
Mhm.
we all have that. But on the other hand, the it's still up to us when we incarnate. Our soul needs to have the experience of whichever life is in front of
Right,
us. And so once we do that, it's always going to be there, but how much are you in connection with your higher self? That's up to individual.
right,
So once we learn that through the work, and you still would need to get rid of all the stuff that is no longer serving your highest good.
right,
And so that's where the tools that I come in really handy. Um, as a soul retrieval, or you do chakra illumination,
right,
anything like that is going to be the best. And of course, past life, you're tapping into all of the now moments, and then you can clear out all of that out of your
right.
system if it's not working for you.
What is your feeling about the time right now that we're living in?
I think time, it's non-existent. And right now, everything is speeding up so fast. But if you look, even last 5 years, when it was 2020, now we're in 2025. It went by so quickly.
Right,
So I think it's speeding up, but it also allowing us to get closer in understanding that time doesn't exist.
right,
So as we gradually, each year it goes by so much faster. We are getting into that state of acceptance that time is non-existent.
illusion.
Yeah, pretty much.
But my question was more about how do you feel this time? I mean, how important is it? What do you see? Because I remember you and I had a conversation at one point, and you said it's so difficult to find people of like mind to get into deep conversations. So,
Right.
mm, my question is, how do you feel about this time? What is happening as far as the evolution of humanity, as far as what you feel or what you see?
Well, a lot of people are waking up. There's a lot more awakened people even since 2020.
Right,
So the people are looking for each other. They want to find like-minded people and they want to have that connection because old stories are no longer interesting. Old topics are no longer interesting. And so we need people that are actually can talk a little bit more than they're just mundane things. And it's something to nurture our and nourish our soul, not just talking. So in a way, I feel there's a lot more people out there now that are interested in having a deep conversations. And I'm really grateful that I'm meeting more and more people now who are keep up the conversations about spiritual aspect and who we are, spirituality itself. And I'm not talking about superficial spiritual talks, but actually deep content, and I'm talking about on a much deeper level issues that are for our evolution, for our growth, really.
What
So,
drew you to Sarasota?
actually, I was guided by my guides and my spiritual team, probably since 1996. Um, Usually, it's everything cyclical for me. So I end up, my guides are coming through and then they tell me it's time to go. And as I usually pack my stuff and I'll just start driving. So,
Right,
and I feel the energy. So whatever the pull is, I will stop and I know exactly that I need to be there for whatever time I need to be there. And once the time is up, they tell me it's time to go, so I go.
right. Okay.
So it's been an interesting way of, exploring the world in a way that I never imagined before. I used to be very much set into my own comfort zone and having a nice place and with all the nice surroundings, which nothing wrong with that. But now things have shifted so much for me that, the material aspect of it doesn't really give me that, nourishment that I seek, which is more spiritual content.
Right.
So I enjoy that.
Do you feel that uh, you are where you are due to the complicated childhood that you had?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Because, when I discovered the spiritual aspect of myself, I was about 14
Hmm.
when, so I've been on this path since 14. I'm 54 now. So it's a long journey, but definitely um, every day and every moment of it, it's been an incredible opportunity to learn and grow for me. And I'm very grateful for that. Um, yeah, I don't think if I had a average, normal, so to speak, life, like I don't think I would have been here. So I had to personally go through a lot of challenges in order for me to get to the point of where spiritually evolved.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what woke you up at 14, or what got you, you know, at
Is
that?
it, it's, we talked about this a little bit. It's, it's a stages of things as it come, you get something and you have a lesson to learn, and then you go, you do some work internally, and then you move on to something else. Like for me, for example, at 14 years old, because it was kind of a very abusive childhood, so I went through different stages of coming out of that and healing myself.
Hmm.
um Interestingly, there's a lot of words that people are trying to be hurtful, that they come up with very bad words or terrible ways of kind of treat somebody. Later on in my life, I kind of understood like, well, I should give them a credit for creativity because they are trying so hard to make your life to be so bad, so miserable that they, you know, mock you, they tell you bad things, and so you're just not one of those. They try to break your spirit. That's basically what it's trying. So when I learned that, it was a game changer for me because I figured out that no matter what I do, how I look, who I'm seeing, there's always going to be people saying something that are negative.
Hmm.
And so when that happened, then internally shifted something for me, and I just stopped caring about what other people think.
Interesting.
And that propelled me forward. So then after each lesson that I've learned, there was another lesson, another lesson. And so it keeps on going. So this life journey is the same. We're here to learn lessons and move on and evolve, you know? So,
Do you obviously, and I haven't asked you this question, have you had life regression? Have you seen where you were a shamanic healer or a psychic or something like that in a previous life?
yes. So actually, I see myself being as a monk in medieval times. So I would say about 12th century. I was during a plague even around,
Right.
and was in a monastery, um, and I was a keeper of the knowledge. That's what the name that came up because we were trying to escape the fires in a monastery, and I was given this job to take the books of knowledge into the safety. Other places were Egypt, where I was one of the healer and initiates into the healing schools, mystery schools. And I also been a shamanic uh, healer and also a warrior in the Andes Mountains. So back in Inca time.
Right.
So yeah, it's been interesting. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
always feel like when you get deep down to it, there is a certain correlation that, we sort of come asleep because we have no memory of our past lives, but somehow subconsciously we are pushed in certain ways or we are interested in certain things or
right.
and then like you get into learning, like for example you hypnosis, and then a bulb goes off in your brain because somehow you remember something, some gift that you had that like awakens,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's very
Well, it's, a lot of times people, what happens is through hypnosis, you can remember, you can be a musician, you can have this uh, insatiable appetite for the music, or you have this writing skills or whatever. So once you tap into the past lives, you actually find out you actually done this before. There's nothing new.
right.
And so as long as you maintain that imprint within your luminous field, you're always going to have that ability to feel and sense something of familiarity.
Right.
And that's how the curiosity comes. Like when I started first, like, well, I remember something. The pieces and parts are coming, either through the dreams or sometimes you walking around and you kind of like, wow, I remember this, but I can't remember where this the vision was came from. And so then you're tapping into those memories in your subconscious mind. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm asking you all these questions is to sort of bring up examples. And one of the examples that I want to share, which kind of confirms this, is uh, I went with my family to Venice. And Venice, if you've been there, you even get lost with a map because there's
Yeah.
so many intertwined streets and so on. But for me, it was like I knew where I was going. It was the most bizarre thing. And I think I was there when I was, I don't know, 17 or 18. And then when I had my life regression, I think at that time I was 25. Yeah, that was my first one. And one of my lives in the, I think it was the 16th century, was in Venice. I was a
Wow.
young girl in Venice. That was
It's
like
so
a
cool.
confirmation. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
this is
was like
amazing.
the most bizarre thing. I was surprised by myself, how I could, I just, it was like I was just being guided, and it was like the most craziest thing. But yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, even a lot of times, when we're born with the birthmarks, for example, and people they just it's no big deal. You're born with the birthmark. But actually, if you go in the past lives, then you can actually find out how you got that. So a lot of times some of the people that I worked with, they had a scar they were born with. And so that came as an imprint from the past life. And one of the, either they were stabbed
Right.
or the arrows, you can just see that whole imprint still
Yeah.
resembles,
Yeah.
and it's just there. It's
Yeah.
an energetic imprint. So when you come back with in the new vessel, you still have it as a birthmark. So
Yeah. I mean, I found that I think with well, one person comes to mind. It's like they had an area where in the back that constantly hurt, and there was no rhyme or reason, and then they found out that in one of their lifetimes they had an arrow that went through that part, and
right,
that's how they died.
right.
But they were alive, I don't know, for 2 or 3 days, and they couldn't take that. So it's like that energetic imprint that is left from that lifetime that still causes pain.
Yeah, it definitely does. Which
Yeah.
is really also reminds me of another thing. Um, Even after medical procedures that we have now, like
Mm.
we have energetic imprint left after the
Right.
medical instruments within our vessels. So, and
Yeah, you were
sometimes,
saying that the other day.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so actually you can remove that through the shamanic work
Right.
because that's what the shamans deal with is the energy. And it's really amazing how much we don't know about our bodies and then how incredible our vessels are and how much it holds within, so much information,
That's
yeah, and
crazy.
memory.
Yeah. And like a lot of times, I don't know, I have these moments where I kind of go back and I think, oh my God, source. What an amazing creation it
Yes.
created. And it's like we don't even know half the things that we are capable of doing because we're still sleeping in so many ways. And
Right.
that's why I was asking you what you thought about this time, because I feel like we're awakening, but I also feel that Earth and humanity, just with the energies that are constantly getting stronger here, it's like it's changing our DNA, it's waking up our gifts, it's doing so much. And I think I truly feel that most of us that are here that are doing these kind of works, like healing, clearing, energy clearing, astrology and so on and so forth. It's all about, being of service and helping other people to awaken to their gifts and talents because we're all intuitive. It's just some people, were born knowing, some people
Right.
kind of learned the craft, so they fine tune their tools, so yeah.
Yeah, the timing is really interesting. I'm super excited about this time around. So, it's I'm just gonna put this out. I mean, I personally kind of struggled for many years, and that didn't want to be in the vessel,
Right.
and so that was really difficult thing for me to accept being in the body and being here and I just rather be home. I want to go home. That was my thing. Because I remember as a child, standing outside in the garden and I was looking up the sky and I just was asking to come back for me because I thought I was dropped off because I misbehaved. So I cried and I was just like asking to come back. I will be a good boy. Just take me home.
Yeah.
And so I struggled with that for many years myself. And so um, probably last, I don't know, when I did came to this acceptance part, it's just like I had this vision, like I can see that I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason. So I need to be here and utilize all the gifts that and knowledge that I've gained to help other people who needs that. And
Right.
the lighter you become from losing all that baggage that you accumulated, the faster you can go up. meaning
Absolutely.
you can elevate your consciousness. And so you can be in a better place for yourself.
Right.
Um, and for me, this is exciting. Now I'm even more so curious. I want to learn more. I want to learn more that doesn't even sound right. I want to remember more
Yeah. Well,
because,
an example that I always give, because I do facials and also I do energy clearing. I also do astrology, and having raised a child who actually that was really painful for me, and I'm very proud of him. But he was somebody like you who was struggling, to be in body. He was very gifted and aware from a very young age, and he had certain experiences. And it was just very difficult for me to see how I could, tell him, listen, there's a reason you were here. Let's
right.
focus on that as opposed to, but, you know, the analogy that I always use is like, I do cold plunges. And
Okay.
it's like when you think of doing it, oh my God, cold, all this. It's like you drive yourself crazy thinking and fearing what it's going to be. And I was one of those people, when I used to go to the pool, it would take me 10 minutes to get in, or, the sea. And it's like, just go in it. What is it going to do? Just let go and plunge, And yeah, I mean, I was moving my business, so I didn't go for 2 weeks, and I did it a few days ago, and it was excruciating. But I'm going like every day, minute and a half, 2 minutes. But yeah,
For
it's really the
me,
fear. It's like it's incredible how we stand against ourselves, you know.
yeah.
And I always say the same thing. You want to say something, just say it. Why take so much time, agonize, put everyone through not communicating? So,
Right. But see, I mean, I think in my opinion, I feel even from my observation, people are so conditioned to kind of withhold that. And so,
oh,
or
yeah,
it's not either polite or it's not, you're going to look bad. Or so people still hanging on to that.
yeah,
And the sooner you release that, clearly that would be help because what people don't understand a lot of times is the anything that is held against your inner voice, you're suppressing your inner voice. Somewhere, sometime, one way or another, is going to manifest itself through some kind of a disease.
right,
So when a person has that understanding, then it changes the perception of what it is to be communicating and allowing yourself to express yourself when you need to versus holding on to that
right,
because it's going to sit within you. It's not doing you any good.
yeah,
So the sooner you release that, the better it is for the body itself, because otherwise you just keep piling up all of these issues and not communicating through, when you need to.
yeah.
And
And I just
so,
want to tell the viewers, it sounds as though it's really, really easy, but I can say for myself that I've worked very hard to get to where I am. And I'm sure you have, obviously,
yes,
through the things. So it's not that we're saying it's easy, but
no.
what we're saying is just give away and give yourself the gift of finding out how you can release this heavy burden, because a lot of
Right.
it is programming or childhood traumas.
Well, also we got to remember another aspect to this, which is even more deeper. If we go into the past lives, a lot of us, we've been persecuted for speaking our truth.
Hmm.
And so that has a lot to do. So that's a, yeah. So that's an imprint that within us. And so to clearing the throat chakra and allowing yourself to actually communicate, you freeing yourself from that karmic, imprint
Right.
that came from whichever lifetime that you were suppressed, and some people were killed
Yeah.
over speaking the truth. So that imprint is still within the body. So you have to take it away, clear it,
Yeah.
remove it, and give the gratitudes and release that. And
Well, that's
so,
one of the reasons that I'm saying, how doing life regression is an amazing way of therapy.
absolutely,
Amazing.
yeah, it really is incredible tool.
Yeah. And
So,
using hypnosis for different things also, for 3D stuff as well, like you mentioned.
oh yeah, it works on pretty much anything and everything.
Right.
So, I mean, it really is, it's a natural way of clearing your system, whether it's energetic system or your physical system, your body, it clears everything out.
Right. Right.
So there's no chemicals involved, and so you're just simply releasing what is natural. You have the ability to do that. You just need a little help with that.
Right.
That's all.
A little
So,
guidance.
yes.
So, I mean, share, do you have any social media platforms? Share your website with us, please. How could
Uh,
people get in touch
yes.
with you?
I'm on Instagram, means light. And then also my website is beyondthephysical.org. Also gonna be my book is coming out.
Oh,
So
that's right. Tell us
yeah,
about the book. What is the book about?
the book is called Beyond the Physical, and it's a subtitle for spiritual approach to gender identity,
Oh,
which has to do with divine feminine and divine masculine aspects.
interesting.
And yeah, the timing of it, I think it's really interesting that I felt like I had to put something out there. And then there's a few chapters that are personal stories and why that topic particularly got me involved and I decided to write the
Can
book.
you give us a little hint, the viewers a little hint?
Uh, so Um, well, the concepts of the divine feminine and divine masculines are not being taught at all, and no discussions about that. So, for me, it was important just to look beyond the physical and just look into the actual energies which are within us, both in male and a female that are
Right,
reside. And so thinking only from the physical aspect, it's not benefiting us on a deeper level. And for as long as we are still in that denial or neglect of nurturing our both aspects within ourselves, we're still going to have the problems in the physical world
right,
because the physical world is only one aspect of who we are as a divine beings. And so it's very close and transformative, process was for me to go through, and I wanted to share with people my perspective on that, and also provide a little bit of a spiritual outlook on that, and then also give some exercises how people can actually balance themselves within as a divine energies.
right. So would you integrate that with what people call soulmates or twin flames?
Well, not so much. I mean, this is more so our energies within us versus, I mean, you can apply, let's say, if you're looking for your partner, your mate that who is a balanced person, which balances both divine feminine and
Right,
masculine aspects within
right,
themselves, versus some people, which is very much of a three-dimensional approach where you only can see the female and a male, and that's all it is, and it's very much gender role played,
right,
life. And so that's good, but also how about nurturing the other aspect of yourself? So whether you're male or female, if you're neglecting a whole aspect of yourself, you are
right,
not walking this path whole.
right,
And so this is what, you know, it triggered that for me to looking around and what's going on in the world and how many people are talking about like, altering themselves.
right,
Um, why are you doing that? So what's the reason? Are you actually really doing it because somebody telling you to do it, or because it's influence, or because it's fashionable now all of a sudden?
Right,
Or what is it that is you are in conflict with within yourself that you are trying to externally do something and make it changes?
right.
Will that actually benefit you? Or will it actually make you truly happy? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I think
certain yeah, go
it's
ahead.
become this, as you call it, the fashion has really confused a lot of people more, and
Right.
especially younger. Yeah,
And that was, for me, it was very much, it was close and personal, really, because of my own sister that was struggling with issues of her identity. And so that kind of put me on the awakening path on the next level, basically. So it allowed me to actually look into and my, both my aspects and I'd look at them more equally. And so I'm not to only nurture one aspect of myself. And so then I'm only living half of my life as a half person.
mm,
So if I have both energies, my job is to nurture both of those aspects and and also I want to have a mate who is also balanced and very much nurturing both aspects of herself. And so to me, that's in my mind and how I see it, that comes to that, twin flame and we all one flame really. So
right,
that whenever that persons are connect together and they both are aspects of each other
right,
as a divine masculine and feminine,
right,
then you become whole.
right.
So
Interesting, interesting. Well, this was a
yeah.
lovely conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. And
Thanks for
I
having
will
me.
definitely
Yeah.
share with everyone your website and your Instagram
Thank you.
and your contact information. And maybe you can come back when your book is published. And I hear a second a second book is in motion.
Yes, it is. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
that.
much, Amin. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
And I wanted to thank all the viewers for
Thank you.
joining us, for being here. I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation with Amin. And please subscribe, like, and comment and share with your friends if you enjoy the content. And if you have any suggestions, please share it in the comments. Thank you for your love and support. And thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have to put my glasses on. Can't find it.